Welcome everyone to It Tastes Different Gaming Podcast with four different flavors coming from four different gamers. I am your host Shane Eisterhold, and I'd like to welcome my co-host Nick Irwin, Patrick Smith, and Russell Rowe.
Hey, Patrick, where can they find us?
Well, the first place you should check out is our website at ittastes.different.com. This is the place where you can subscribe to all of our streams and connect to all of our social media sites. You can also find us on Facebook at It Tastes Different. We're also on Instagram at It Tastes Different PC. And then last but not least is Twitter, where you can find us at It Tastes Diff.
What's for dessert? We fall for the mud pie with the dark side of gaming. Today we're going to discuss literally the dark side of gaming, all the bad stuff, online toxicity, etc. So to start off, let's throw it at Russell with the things he hates about the gaming.
Well, we were talking about this, and I was thinking about a lot of different things, and I want to kind of talk about the maturation of online gaming mostly, but not completely. And I just want to think about a time where we started like Star Wars Galaxies, and then WoW, kind of that time frame where a lot of MMOs started blossoming. And when we first started playing the game and playing the games, I remember a very friendly, fun atmosphere, a lot of people that would help. And then a couple of years passed, a couple of expansions came out for WoW, and then I could just remember being in Crossroads and people bringing up politics and people coming in stealing kills and then all this. But then that just kind of like went along with, a subject that I don't want to get too deep into because it could derail us for hours. But, media toxicity, those things that people just kind of, those haters, those people that are just trying to antagonize everybody, that just got worse and worse and worse. And then you got people who are farming gold to sell online. They're farming gear to sell online. People could buy characters. I'm not saying that I never did that, or I did or didn't sell characters. I mean, it didn't really help the atmosphere of gamers. It didn't teach people how to become better gamers or better, how they understood their classes better. That's kind of where I wanted to start with this myself and see kind of where you guys wanted to comment along with that. But the whole way that we were when like gaming started, like everybody was helpful and friendly. I'm not going to say everybody was, but the majority of people were, where it then turned into the minority of people helping, where you can go onto an MMO and play in an area and not hear a single thing or see a single thing or anything, or even people trying to help you in that area. You ask for help in a quest and all you get is crickets. What do you guys think of that? I mean, do you believe that kind of happened through the time of gaming?
No, I think that kind of just evilness has spawned since the internet began. No consequences if it ain't face to face is what people are doing anymore. It's, they'll say what they want to say, act how they want to act, because they know the chances of them being punished for such bull is it's pretty limited. I mean,
well, in the beginning of the time, though, I felt like people were helpful. I mean, that has definitely become what the world is now, and what's happened to gaming. But I mean, I feel like when we first were all started playing MMOs, I felt like it was kind of more of a community atmosphere. I mean, you still had some clowns and some people that were being dumb, but it wasn't everybody. I mean, though you are a very experienced gamer, Shane, maybe not on the MMO side. Maybe Nick and Patrick have a comment about that.
Well, I mean, I remember we played Galaxies back in the day. Star Wars Galaxies wasn't that bad. You would have, I remember, Mike, I remember my Galaxies time and only running into maybe like 3 or 4 people the entire time we played Galaxies that were what I consider jerks. And most of it was not like them being outright jerks. It was just the comments and stuff like in PvP. I can remember just people being facetious to be facetious, not like it is now. Like, I didn't consider that toxicity. Like, back in the day when we used to play Star Wars Galaxies, there was a TKM, Textile Master, named Chuck Norris. You remember that guy, Russ? every time he would kill somebody, it would just be like, you had just been chucked by Chuck Norris. And I got killed by him so many times, I got so tired of hearing that because that was like his death blow macro, you know?
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, that was just being facetious. That wasn't really being like toxic, if I would put it. Toxicity is like what happened to League of Legends, you know, or even WoW to some extent. But League of Legends ended up banning like a huge chunk of their player base due to toxicity there. What was that, back in like 2016 or 2014 or something? I can't remember quite. They banned a huge
a couple
chunk
of MOBAs actually got kind of strict within that because you would cause a match, like not necessarily you would cause the match, but you know, especially new players couldn't get rolling on it because everybody else was so worried about how their rank would be affected, and you would get blasted by messages. Some people were talking about like hours after they quit a match, they were getting hammered by somebody else. So yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the worst.
League of Legends for me was, I could definitely, I mean, because I'm not big into MOBAs, and you know, I had friends that wanted me to play League of Legends, and I remember playing the first match of League of Legends, and I think it was unranked, pretty sure, you know, because it was my first time, so we just playing unranked, and as soon as that match was over, the guy on our team just blasted me right after it, and I told my buddy, I was like, I'm never playing this again. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, the guy was like, I'm like, dude, you know, it's an unranked match. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, I got to learn to play. Yeah.
Right. Plus, you know, we play games to have fun. I mean, if you're going to turn it into a job or something like that, then you're in the wrong, you know, field for this. You should go start playing tournaments and be playing ranked. If you're going to play unranked, you know, anytime I'm going to play on an online game, if I'm going to play an unranked match, it's there to have fun, right? And I'm not going to sit there and yell and scream about a person that's doing bad because it's unranked. We're just there to have a good time, and that's all there is to it, right? If you want to start playing ranked, if you want to be there to, you know, boost your playability and your game as far as the game goes for competitions and stuff, then you're playing the wrong mode for that, right? You should be playing ranked mode, and you should be playing with a team, because that's more likely what you're going to be doing in a competition is playing with a team. So, it's that toxicity just really turns new players off. Like you guys said, you know, it really turns them away from a community of gamers or of a game that people might have a lot of fun with, but that community, you have those people that just take things way too seriously, and you know, they just turn people off to it, and then so now you don't have this new influence or influx of new members to your game, and your game ends up dying off. You know, and that's not the same for League of Legends. It has its, you know, and it continues to have its community that's always going to be there, but you know, the odds of that game having an influx of new players is probably low compared to maybe other games that have.
It was very brutal. People would berate. I mean, it was when me and Russ were playing. It was pretty brutal. I mean, people would even get brutal in like a bot and versus AI or / bots game. I'm like, they'd be like, you can't jungle with Volley, or you can't do this. It's like, come on, dude. It's a freaking co-op versus AI, co-op versus bots, however you want to say it. And people just get irate, and I mean, to the point that they would just berate you the whole game. And yeah, it was a pretty toxic community back then. And I haven't played really much in the last few years. I think right before they started doing the mass bans, I had quit because it was just too bad. You couldn't play what you wanted or do what you wanted because the community in that game was just so, I don't know what the term is. Maybe they were just, I don't know, they were just unhinged at sometimes, because you could play games with people that wouldn't say a word and run into like one guy who just, like he just escaped the mental institute and doesn't know how to interact with people, just go off. And so they did a mass ban. I can't remember the percentage back then, but they banned a lot of players due to toxicity in the community and stuff like that, and put in lots of things to try to negate that. I'm not sure it was ever effective. I think they ended up just killing the game's popularity more than anything because of it. But I mean, it was the esport game for the longest time.
Yeah. I remember, you know, when I first started playing online was my first real online game was SOCOM, and my first game was really fun. Met a bunch of people, we had a good time. I did well, blah blah blah, and then it just seemed to whittle down to worse. You'd always run into these random a-holes, and then when Xbox launched, they're good online games like Ghost Recon. I mean, I played the heck out of it, and I only play with certain guys because every match we'd get into, it'd just be some whiny, cussing, racist bullcrap, and that's only gotten worse. I mean, I don't play online and listen to anybody because I'm sick of it. And it's hard to meet fellow gamers now because you're afraid to turn your damn headset on.
Yeah, I imagine most of it. Like I said, I don't play most of it, so I don't know I'm not a big, battle arena type game person, so the people anymore. So I mean, I don't know like if Fortnite and CS:GO and Dota and all those are still just as toxic, or PUBG. I don't know if any of those game groups are just as toxic because I don't play in them, so I don't know if those guys are bad. I mean, like I said, the most toxic community that I've ever been involved with was League of Legends, and I it drove me away from wanting to play the game. Me and Russ used to love that game, and I stopped playing any type of player versus player because of that. It was just like people would get so upset if you did something that they didn't think your character should do. Because Russ and I used to run, I can't remember the combo. It was like a volley and Lux combo, and we used to run top lane all the time, and people hated that. They're like, you can't run a volley and Lux top lane. And you're like, leave us alone. Let us play,
Meanwhile, we had the second turret down, and they're still struggling with the first. And
Right.
yeah, it was tough. But that kind of leads into this portion of it too. Like we've heard about it. Swatting. Like those guys that are playing COD or something like that. Next thing you know, they have a SWAT team called on them. I mean, you talk about next level toxicity. You talk about next level like absurdness, whether it's a prank or not a prank. I mean, I believe people have been injured, hurt, killed, the whole 9 yards through some of that stuff. So it's like we talk about this dark side of gaming. It's like, guys, like if you can't enjoy a good game, then there's nothing in this life that you can enjoy. So just stop living.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's people. Yeah, people have been killed because of swatting and stuff like that. I mean, there's a video of the guy who got shot at his front doorstep by the SWAT team because somebody swatted on him and said that he was beating his wife or something like that. And the cops went to his house and he came out the front door and they shot him. And it's stupid that it's come to that. It's like I don't know. People get off on getting a rise out of people, and I don't get it. It's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't see how people enjoy that or what they get out of that because I never got an enjoyment out of like harassing people. I'd much rather play the game to play the game and enjoy the game and enjoy playing with friends, not like berating somebody or belittling somebody, I mean, I don't like multiplayer games for the most part or PvP style games, but I'll play them when we all play them. But, I will get railroaded by the same person over and over, and I don't care. It's because they create these nemesis and like Call of Duty and all this stuff. Like the person has killed you so many times, and you're a nemesis, and I'm like, I don't even pay attention to that. But some people get irate, like, why do you keep killing me? Stop killing me! And it's just like, come on, guys, it's a game about killing people, killing each other. What are you supposed to do? You just make an easy target, and I'm an easy target in a lot of PvP games because I just don't play them enough, and I don't do that. The first person shooter multiplayer is not my thing, but I will play as a group because we all like different things, and Shane and Nick like Call of Duty style games and Battlefield stuff, so we'll play that as a group. Not my cup of tea, but I play it. But the community can ruin that quickly for you if they just start being a bunch of gloaters and bad sports about it all around.
Yep. Yeah. Me and Nick, we're enjoying the new Call of Duty, and we haven't played one in a while that we enjoyed. But we still don't talk to people. We don't talk to our team. It would be helpful if we did, but what's going to happen when we join the game chat? Are we going to be, listen to a bunch of morons cussing and hating on everybody, saying, nasty and outlandish things that are just, inappropriate for something that's supposed to be fun?
Right.
I don't want that. Yeah. I mean, when we play together and one of us is sucking butt in the game, we give each other crap, but we don't cross those lines of ignorance of hate.
Well, we know it's just buddies razzing each other. It's not the same thing as something on their neck because they're not razzing you. They're just being mean spirited, they're just intending to be mean and get a rise out of you. And swatting, I don't get the whole swatting thing because I mean, I don't know what every state probably has their own laws, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty if you get busted, it's got to be pretty stringent, repercussions for that. I mean, especially how would you feel? I mean, how would you feel? I mean, I don't know about the guys who did this, but the one guy that got killed, that everybody saw the video. I wonder how that guy felt. Well, we know how he felt because he blamed the cops and the guy on what happened and not himself. He's like, I didn't do anything that got him shot, and I'm like, you called a SWAT team you called the cops on him, and basically made it sound like he was killing people in his house. How is that not your fault? So some people just have I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with them, mentally, because I can't understand that how somebody wouldn't feel completely horrible for getting somebody else killed.
It's cowardice because they know the chances of them getting any kind of repercussions from their actions is thin. It's cowardice. It's a bunch of wannabe big boys who, hey, come to my house. Then you show up to the house, what happens? They turn the lights off 99% of the time. It's cowardice. They're, they need their, I'm trying to watch my language. They need their butts whooped. I mean, by their mommy, their daddy, their, whoever, the kid or guy or whoever got called SWAT and got the other person killed. He needs to be put in prison with nothing but a towel and some lotion. Because
I think the kid got like 20 years or something like that. The one who did it. I mean, he got somebody killed, and however you look at this, the police fault or whatever, the police would have never been involved if the guy didn't call them. So you can blame the police all you want, but this would have never started if he didn't call the cops. And pretend to get the guy in trouble. And it doesn't just affect the people involved. I mean, the guy called the cops, got the guy killed. That guy's family is now suffering from it. I think I read a story a while back where like his niece was living with him and she eventually committed suicide because of the whole thing. And now that one guy's in jail and his family is suffering because he pulled a stupid, idiotic, bonehead move. And even if he didn't get the guy killed, he should have been in jail for wasting public dollars and being an idiot. You don't do that type of stuff. But what are you going to do? I mean, why do people do that stuff? That's the whole thing, is why people do what they do, and we'll never know because, everybody's different. But how some people have such malicious intent is beyond me. I don't think I've ever had that much of malicious intent towards somebody to where I'd want to get them killed.
Oh, no. I've hated a lot of people in my years on this earth. I mean, hated. But you know what? I've never wanted any of them to die. I want them all to pull their heads out of their butts or just, straighten their lives out or whatever. But no, I don't comprehend that either. And it's sad because games are fun. Games are meant to be fun. Games are meant to be entertaining. Games are meant to, an online game should be bringing people together, because they're all doing something they love.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of instances like that. I mean, it's unfortunate that, this society and as the next generation of gamers are coming up, it seems, we all are older and we don't want to be that, get off my lawn type of old man, but they are kind of being a little bit more toxic as the ranks are coming up, and it's unfortunate, but at least us as a group, we know how to avoid those situations as best as possible, which, we pretty much play games now that don't put us in those type of situations. But, and it's sad because some of those games are fun. League of Legends was a lot of fun. Overwatch wasn't too bad. That was actually kind of fun for a minute, but of course it was a repetitive game. But again, we're not going to enter that realm because we don't want to have to deal with clowns and stuff like that. So that's definitely one of the bad things about one of the dark sides of gaming for sure. Nick, did you have anything else to add at all with that?
No, it's pretty much what you guys said. It's most gamers play, or I would say a majority of gamers play games just to play them and have fun. That's one of the ways that I play games. The multiplayer games that me and Shane play a lot online, it's just to have fun. Like Patrick said, I don't care that, I mean, I might have a match where I'm doing horrible, and I'm just dying over and over and over again. Or I might have a game or a match where I'm doing really good, but it shouldn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter in the end all. I mean, because it's just a game. I mean, like, who cares, right? If you want to go professional with it, then you should be playing differently, right? You shouldn't be online playing just a player match with just random people and get all mad about it. It's just a game. It doesn't matter. We're just there to have fun and have a good time. That's the gist of it. If you want to play competitively and you want to play in tournaments and things like that, then there is a route for that. And if that's the route you want to go, then and maybe you don't know how to go about it. Look online. I bet you there's plenty of player guides on how to be competitive in a game, to get to that point where you can be in competitive matches and things like that. But if you want to just have fun and you just want to play, then just get out there and play. And yeah, majority of the time we do just talk to ourselves and stuff like that because the player base is so toxic with a lot of these games, and it's really, it doesn't need to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. We're all there to have fun and just play video games, and that's what we should be doing.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, there's bad sides of everything in life, That for the most part, I think people play games to have fun because the experience is not always like that. But like WoW is just as bad. That sometimes you get into groups with people, and PC gaming is probably a little bit worse because you don't have to join the in-game voice chat because you're just bombarded with the actual chat window, the box. That's why League of Legends is a little rough and stuff like that because you don't have to be in like voice chat with them. You could be in like a regular chat bot because basically if you're in the game with them, they can chat to you. So the whole time they're just berating you to try to get you to leave the game or get a rise out of you or whatever. So even WoW can be that way. I've been in some raids with people who just are horrible people. I mean, me and Russ have been in actual game raids where people are just yelling at each other, and these are supposed to be friends or people who know each other and are working together in a raid for a common goal, and just the guild explodes because people are just, like better word, they're douchebags to each other, and you're just like, what is going on here? What in this game can make you blow up friendships for and stuff like that,
Yeah, we have on more than one occasion. We could sit here for probably an hour in the podcast and tell our listeners. No, I mean, like we giggle and laugh, like serious stories of spouses ripping other spouses. I mean, on a live chat, open mic, right in front of everybody, girlfriends and boyfriends, brothers and sisters, dads and sons. I mean, like, it's just been like, oh my gosh, and Patrick and we may be like, dude, you got to watch for the fire. I'm like, I know, I missed it there or whatever. Like we might do something like that.
We gotta get snippy with each other, but
yeah,
that's about
but that's different versus what some of these people. I mean, we've quit guilds because of this. Like we have said, well, we can't do this anymore, or I've unfortunately got into Ventrilo, and I don't think Nick and Shane have ever been purviewed to.
I think they're pervy.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think they've ever really seen me when I get into my mode of like, look, like I start getting into it because I'm like, look, this is uncalled for and unnecessary, and you are a little person for doing this type of like situation, and I've had a couple of those moments, so. And it's ruined. I mean, I think it's part of the reason why we game together, because we know that we're not going to be put in a situation like that, because it's just a waste of our time and our enjoyment of what we're trying to get out of the game. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox there. But he brings up a great point in the fact of like it could be very nasty from time to time.
Right. Yeah. People just don't have patience, and they don't. I mean, I don't have the biggest patience for PvP games, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I know what my stopping point is. I know when I get to a point to where I'm like, this is just enough is enough. I'm getting irritated past a point of irritation. I just need to stop because I know what my limits are and stuff like that. And I know, I'll do things a little bit more than what I normally do if I was playing by myself, just to play with friends, because like we've always said many times before, we can take a game that I don't like and make it fun if we play with it as a group of people, because we're just, for the most part, we're acting like children with each other. We're razzing each other, giving each other a hard time, and playing a game. It's what we do, and we do it in our own little party chat, so we don't ever have to join the game chat with all the people and their their negativity in the games.
Yeah, it's nice to have that too. I mean, I've quit playing with other people that I played with for a long time because their attitudes while playing games just gotten worse and worse and worse. I don't want to sit and listen to somebody that I enjoy typically playing a game with. Just ranting and raving and cussing. That ain't right. It ain't fair. He's cheating. F this, F that. Drop. I mean, just a complete 180 from the person that I started playing with. And we're talking, 5-10 years of gaming with, and just watching them completely flip their personalities. I don't like it. Me and Nick have been playing together for umpteen years now, and that's because he's laid back. He don't care. We both get pissy if we're dying. Don't get me wrong. I mean, nobody likes to die. We play multiplayers. We get ticked off. We get shot in the back 40 times in a row. But you got to play with people in your mindset. And I think that's why the four of us do well. We can give each other crap without losing our crap.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a good gamer, or like maybe a game really well, like League of Legends or something like that, instead of going off on someone that's doing bad, try to help them out, right? Maybe they're a first-time gamer.
Yeah, constructive criticism goes a long freaking way.
Right. Be like, hey, not necessarily why did you do this or why did you do that, but like, hey, I noticed you did this or something like that. Like, what was that? And like, oh, it's first time playing. Like, oh, okay, cool. Let me give you some like pointers and stuff, and let's maybe take this game offline and like do some like private chats or private games, and then we'll kind of work on that and stuff like that, because maybe that individual really wants to get into this game, and you as someone who is experienced can show them the ropes, because they don't know it. If you just spout off on them on the first chance, they're just going to drop it and never come back to it again. And that could be a potential of someone that may end up being really good at the game. That could be someone on your team, right? Or something like that, where you're like, hey, this guy is great. He just needs a few pointers or some help, and so, yeah, have that constructive feedback when you're playing with other players. Don't just go straight into the negative if you are a good player at a game, because this might be the first foray for those people, and they're just wanting to have a good community and a good experience, and you're taking that experience away from them, essentially. If you're a bad player or a bad person to the community, in that sense.
Yeah, just think of it this way: how many could be gamers have gave up because douche nozzles keep constantly, attacking and berating them when they're trying to learn something. But if you stop being a jerk and you start, teaching them the things that man, you're going to have yourself not only friends, you're going to have yourself people that play like you, play with you. And instead of being that one jerk who probably plays with only other jerks that nobody actually likes each other anyway. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah, and you didn't start out an expert yourself, right?
No.
Remember that fact.
You were
not an
I fell out of the womb with a controller in my hand.
But
well, it wasn't in his hand.
Everybody else didn't start out an expert, and those people that are berating other people, they didn't start out as an expert, right? They started out as a newbie just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And so, you've got to, for me personally, there was times where I played certain MMOs or, shooters or whatever, and there was some person that was doing really bad, and maybe they said something, and for me, I would be like, hey, you want some pointers, you want some helpful tips, because I want everybody, for me personally, I want everybody to enjoy the game, right? If I enjoy it, I want you to enjoy it too. So if I can help you enjoy it, that's what I'm going to do, right? And it's probably the same for all of us, right? If there's a game that we really love and really enjoy, and there's somebody that's coming in fresh or somebody coming in new, and they seem like they're having a hard time with it, maybe we'll take them aside and say like, hey, you need some help, you need some pointers, things like that. And some games, some newer games, especially even MMOs, one of them like Final Fantasy 14 really tries to emphasize that. When you come back after a while, or if you're a brand new player, you get that brand new player tag, and they give you if you're an advanced player, the nice thing about that game in particular is if you're an advanced player, they give you a special token, if you want to be, where you can be a kind of advisor to new players. And so the new players get a special badge above their name that shows that they're new and returning. Maybe they've been away for years or something like that, and they're returning. They can get that badge as well. And then you have the people that have been playing for years that can get a special badge that says like, hey, I'm kind of like a tour guide or like an advisor. If you need help with something, I'll help you. And you have to opt in for that. It's not like the game just gives it to you. And so for those players, that's a good idea. It's a good stepping stone, right? To give those new players coming in or the returning players that have been gone for a long time someone that they can join up with that's willing to help out. That's a really cool idea, and I've seen other games kind of emphasize or kind of implement that kind of system. So it would be really cool to see a lot of other games kind of utilize something like that, where you can have this volunteer system of gamers that are willing to help out others.
Right. See, I've not seen that. Well, I mean, that must be like an MMO thing. I haven't touched one of those in a long while.
I mean, when you do like Eve Online does that. They put you in the newbie. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the term? They put you in a newbie academy, and you basically it's like a guild, and you're in there until you want to leave. But while you're in there, you're marked as this, so people know that you're kind of a newbie. When you chat, they can see that over your thing. And then there's advisors, which are just players who have volunteered to help out new players, and they basically sit in the chat and just basically talk with the new players like, hey, I really want to do this, and how do you do that? And they give them kind of like a quick run around or even more detailed, and they put it in general chat so everybody's learning from this, because you may not know, but you don't have to ask the question because somebody else already did, and you're seeing their interaction, and you're like, okay, that's cool, I want to try that. Or maybe they put something in chat you weren't even thinking about, and you're like, didn't know that was in here, or didn't know I could do that, I definitely love stuff like that, but you have to have a very strong and engaged community for that.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Strong and engaging is something that's really dwindling down.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. It's not. It
depends on the MMO, right? Or especially in MMOs, that's or the game, right? MMOs is especially that happens a lot. In MMOs, like you said, with EVE Online and in Final Fantasy 14, they have really engaging communities that are going to put that forward. All right, they're going to be a part of that.
I was just saying, like, what's kind of a dying thing nowadays is the forums for games. Like when I was younger, forums for games were like all over the place. It didn't have to be an MMO. The game would have a huge forum. MMOs have always been popular for having active forums, but that's because it's a long-running game. But forums for games aren't really out there anymore. With Google and stuff like that, you can ask a question and in Google and find somebody wrote an article on it or something. But like back in the day, it was forums. You had to go join a gaming forum of that game, and you guys could talk about the game and tips and tricks and hints and hidden things and stuff like that. So those communities kind of don't exist anymore outside of the MMOs. MMOs still have that type of community, but for the most part, most games nowadays don't even have an online community type thing like that. I guarantee you'd probably be hard pressed to find something like that. Like, let's just take a popular game. If we wanted to go out, is there a Ghost of Tsushima community out there? I mean, that was a super huge popular game. Is there a forum for that and stuff like that? Is it popular? Is it being used? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a forum for Ghost, but is it being utilized like we say? Probably not.
I mean, I don't honestly know if there would be. Is there an official forum for Ghost of Tsushima? I don't think that they do that anymore. I don't think game developers do that.
Man, you can't even get an instruction booklet anymore, so.
I mean, I guess some places have message boards for them, but nothing nothing like, I mean, like Gamers Facts, I think they still do them for games, but yeah, maybe you still find something, but not as prevalent.
Maybe not a non-official form,
right, like it used to be. But
Call of Duty
MMOs,
tried to do that too with I don't know if you guys remember the Call of Duty. Oh, what was it? I don't know if you remember, Shane. They had that Call of Duty community thing, like back in, I think, around Ghost and stuff like that. Remember they made that whole like
the original Ghost.
Yeah, I remember they made that whole subscription service and everything. Maybe it was first Modern Warfare or something like that. They had that whole subscription service where they had this whole Call of Duty subscription service, and they had this forums and message boards and all that stuff. And they were trying to do something with that, and they were trying to do this big subscription service for Call of Duty, and it didn't.
Oh, that was Modern Warfare. Yeah.
Is that Modern Warfare? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were trying to
Modern
make
Warfare.
it for like all the Call of Duties, but of course it didn't last. I don't think
Was
it
it the
lasted
Elite?
past.
like Call of Duty Elite.
I think so. Yeah, Call of Duty Elite. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't think it lasted past Modern Warfare, or at least Modern Warfare 2.
Communities are non-existent for the most part, as I see. Most games that most games that are not like huge, like long time games, they don't normally have that type of community. Not as big as what it used to be. But I guess back in the day, most of the games that had larger communities were MMOs and stuff like that. A lot of single player games didn't have a huge community, but
Yeah.
because
because Modern Warfare is going to come out again next year and the next, and then the freaking MOBAs, there's always something, and yeah. So the MMOs I can see, but I'm surprised I didn't even think about that, Nick. I went and looked back at it and I'm like, oh God, yeah, I remember that.
Well, yeah, a lot of those
they tried to
forums
make
were
people pay
community
for it.
based too. Sorry, I didn't mean to step over you there, Patrick.
No,
Yeah,
I
go
know
ahead.
what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I guess Toxicity is mostly in the game now, and not a lot of chats and forums were moderated, so you wouldn't really get a lot of toxicity in that type of stuff, unless they were unmoderated forums or message boards or PHP boards or whatever back in the day. But in the games themselves, sometimes it's just super toxic community.
I think one of the MOBAs that had the best community starting out, I don't know about now, but was Heroes of the Storm. I thought that community for a MOBA was great.
I'm not sure I know that one.
That's the Blizzard one, right?
Right.
Yeah, that one was pretty fun. I don't remember it getting too much toxicity into that one. We did run. I mean, every game you're going to run into people who are just jerks. So I mean, me and Russ played Heroes of the Storm for quite a while too.
You know how you can tell somebody's a jerk online? When they don't use their blinkers when they drive. That's the way I gauge it.
And it's a game.
Russ, what'd you think? Heroes of the Storm wasn't that toxic. Community?
Yeah. I mean, I probably played 4 times the amount of Heroes of Storm than Patrick did. I happened to have a job at the time that was a little bit more relaxed, considering I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much, because I worked in an on-call service. So there'd be times during the work day there I would run, a few hours of that. And so, but it was never that bad. I mean, even in the PvP side, you'd have 1 or 2 that get a little frustrated or something, but it was never to the level of like League of Legends or anything like that. But I think that's also Blizzard's community laws and stuff like that. I'm sure people got banned pretty quickly. Those things are moderated pretty well. But that's just because, Blizzard had so much experience doing that anyway. So again, that's, but that's community and I think, developers / game master reasoning behind that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to keep an active esports, because that was an esports game, they have to moderate that something to allow new talent to come in. Because if you just browbeat the new talent and just leaving, then you're never going to be able to bring in fresh faces and fresh people to play.
Yeah, and Blizzard was really smart to do that after seeing the failings of League of Legends, because League of Legends is not a new game by any means. I mean, that game is probably 13 to 15 years old by now.
I think 2009. Is that when it came out?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be about that old. And I mean, Heroes of Storm came out about 2014, 2015. So, that game had a good 4 or 5 years on it before they came out with Heroes of Storm. So yes, they had a lot of different ways to make that. You kind of learn from Riot's mistakes.
Right. Yep. Yep. So cool. Yeah, I mean, we could always talk about toxic communities. We've all had experiences. We've all played. We've all been in those groups where people are just jerks, and and so it goes. I guess there's also levels of it. I mean, to some extent, some people will call griefing and stuff like that, toxic, and
Camping.
and games try to camping and griefing and stuff like that. And a lot of games try to penalize you for doing that, and if a game has that built-in mechanic and people do it, I think they're jerks. But you know what? They're playing the game by the rules of the game. As long as there's no outright, you can't do it. Some games will make it to where you get no honor or XP for killing somebody who's just freshly revived, or they'll make it to where that person's invulnerable for a little while, until give them like a little 15-second break to get away from the camp or something, so people don't farm the camp, the graveyard or whatever, So it just goes to what level. I mean. But to me, I'm like, that's less of an issue for me than people who are just outright berating people and talking trash all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do I get a second opportunity to fire Shane up?
Go for it. Bring it on, baby. I've been a good boy.
So how about that PS5 that you haven't got yet because of scalpers?
I think every scalper should have all their toilet paper replaced with razor wire.
In kind of preparation for this, I was like, okay, well, let me see here. Let me get on eBay real quick. And they were anywhere from $850 to $2,300 for a PS5.
If you pay more than retail to some jackknob scalper, you're the problem. I want one. I want one bad. Guess what? I'm not dumb enough to pay some person, use that word lightly, a bunch of extra money just because he cheated, used a bought all these PlayStation 5s up and screwed gamers over. He screwed people over. This isn't about people, the right to make money or any of that crap, like that UK group that had like 25 or 3,500 of them, trying to condone.
Oh yeah, they said it was for the children.
Yeah, so those people could feed their children. Bull crap. That is straight bull crap. It was not about children. It was about screwing people over.
I mean, they had to have gotten the money somewhere to buy all those, so they basically took all the money away from the children to buy 3,500 consoles.
They risked their children's food to buy all these consoles in hopes somebody would be dumb enough to pay them double the price. And
considering that,
sadly, people are dumb enough to do it.
I mean, they had 3,500 consoles. Even if they bought the cheapest console, which is the $400 one, that's $1.4 million. So where'd they get $1.4 million from?
Place, the children.
Yeah,
they took it all from that Sally Struthers. She couldn't feed the children. They bought PlayStations.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it, and I don't understand why. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can pay more than retail for something. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't get that. In my opinion, I'm going to wait. I mean, I really, 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 really want a PlayStation, enough to where I've spent hours waiting in line, online, refreshing web pages, trying to get a PlayStation 5. I have spent tons of my personal time to try to get one of these, but I'm not going to go I'm not even spending $50 more than retail to get this console because I don't know.
So Patrick,
it's bad
who
enough
is more
I
to
pay
blame?
Taxes.
So who's more to blame? Is it the scalpers or those that are paying for them?
More to blame. Well, in all honesty, the scalpers wouldn't exist if there wasn't people willing to pay that price. But we also wouldn't have people willing to pay that price if the scalpers didn't get involved. So it's really, in my opinion, it's a 50-50. If the people weren't willing to spend it, the scalpers wouldn't be able to survive. But if there's people that are out there that just gotta have it. I don't know. They have no willpower to wait an extra month or two, or maybe even 3 in our case. Who knows? But the scalpers just, because any one of us could do what they do. You go out, you use a bot to do purchases. We could do that. It's just, but it's, in my opinion, it's unethical. You're not an entrepreneur by going out and using a piece of software to shop and buy a $100,000 or $100,000 worth of consoles, a couple hundred consoles, 200 or 300 consoles.
Yeah.
You're not an entrepreneur.
You're buying
You're a-
up all the
You're a
inventory
douche.
and turning it
You're
around and selling it for a
yeah.
profit. I mean,
You're hoarding. You're hoarding is what
Yeah.
you're doing, and then you're trying to profit off of it. That would
You're
be like
profiting- You're
that'd be like
profiting
Russ
off
going and
other
buying all the
people's
toilet
misfortune.
paper. That'd be
You're
like Russ
profiting
going
on
and
selling
buying all
it
that
$5.
toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah, $5 a
$5
roll.
You're
$2.50
profiting
for used.
Yeah, you're profiting off of misfortune is what you're doing. You're basically saying, I have a scheme to where I can get Xboxes before anybody else can, and I'm just going to go in and buy all the stock that would normally be bought by normal people, and then I'm going to sell it to you. What Microsoft and PlayStation, all these companies need to do is they need to do what the entertainment industry has. Scalping is illegal. They need to do that. But they won't because it makes them bank. Because I am sorry, there's going to be so many scalpers out there left with inventory because I cannot imagine there's enough people willing to buy what they have purchased to make them a profit.
It's not even willing; it's dumb enough to buy
I
because
guess,
they're only hurting themselves in the future. They're not thinking about this next generation that comes out. You think it's going to get better? You think people are going to be like, well, you know what? Last time was really bad, so it's going to be better this time. No, it's not. It's going to be crap again because you're paying these immoral jackwagons all this extra money, and they're going to do it again.
Well, in my opinion, you're giving those people, by not putting in safeguards, you're giving them the okay to do it. Because in my opinion, Sony and Microsoft need to go after these places like StockX, eBay, and be like, you can't sell this because it's scalping. You cannot sell a product for more than whatever face value of the item is. And because what is this thing on the ticket? I can't remember what the scalping value of a ticket is, but you can't resell a ticket for more than X dollars over the face value of the ticket. And then,
they shouldn't be able to buy these consoles or anything. I mean, they even did it with the RTX 3080s, the NVIDIA cards, right? Or I think it was 3080s or 1300 or 3000s or whatever it was. They did the same thing with those. You shouldn't be able to buy, not even just consoles, a product in general. Just buy out the stock, turn around and sell for more than it costs.
Right, because you're creating artificial supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. And Sony comes out and like, this is the biggest consoles sale we've ever had. And it's like, yeah, but a third of your stock was bought by scalpers.
Yeah.
Like, I that's great. And I want Sony and Microsoft to succeed in their console sales, but if more than half of your stock is bought by scalpers, then no, you didn't have a great console.
No.
Now, you probably would have if more general people would have bought one, because like Patrick said, and like all of us, I've spent a majority of my time online refreshing websites to hope to get one, because I really want one too. I really want a PlayStation 5. I'm super excited for it, and I really want one, and I can't find one. And we more than likely won't get one until next year, and I'm sure I'm not going to go out and pay a scalper $1,000 or $500 or $1,500 or whatever more than what the console is worth. It's worth $400 or $500 depending on what version you buy for the PS5, and that's the price I'm going to pay for it. I'm not going to pay any more than that.
Yeah, same here. I'm not buying a bundle. I'm not buying anything to get one of those consoles because I hate that. I might, if there was a special deal, like you buy this console, this $400 console, we throw in a game and an extra controller for $450. That's a deal. That's a bundled deal. But saying, hey, I want, because GameStop did this. They threw together these bundles so they can hold back a few consoles and make a huge amount of money because they were like $800 bundles, and you got like 2 games and 2 controllers, and I'm like, I need $800 worth of extras, guys. Thanks for gouging people, But the only way that this is going to have an effect is that you need to have, and this is my opinion, this is just what I think the only way to prevent this from happening in the future is if you're Microsoft and PlayStation, you need to appease your gamers. And to do this, you have to sign up for a pre-order through not GameStop, but through Microsoft or through Sony, with an established account. And when I mean established account, it can't be an account that was created that day within 24 hours, within a week. There has to be an established timeline. If you want to pre-order, you have to have an established account.
I think
Yep.
Sony had the right idea with that because they kind of did that, kind of.
But you didn't have to have an established account. You could create one.
No, exactly. Yeah. Right. That's why I say kind of. Because you had to have an account, but it wasn't an established account. And I would agree. You have to have, for Microsoft, they can't do anything about third parties like Walmart and Best Buy and stuff like that. But for their own store, and you even see it on PlayStation Store now. I mean, they've gotten a little bit better at trying to prevent scalpers. Because they put in now where, besides you have to log into your account to buy it, which the scalpers just create a bunch of dummy accounts and that's all they can do. They've also put in CAPTCHA stuff, like click the fire hydrants, and stuff like that. They put those things in now, I've noticed, whenever that stuff comes out. And then they also have the, which is really messed up and doesn't work, is the whole, you're in the line type thing for the,
that's a joke.
For the website. Oh, it is a joke because
you don't know if they really have stock.
Well, yeah, and the last time we did it, remember, it was like I think me and you were both at like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden we were an hour over.
Right. Yeah.
And then the first time we didn't go anywhere. It was that you were in line and it never moved.
Until they say it's sold
until
out.
It was over with, yeah. Until like an hour after it was over with, and it finally just reloaded the page, and it was just back at the out of stock sign.
Right.
So these Sony and Microsoft definitely they need to do something about the scalpers. I think, and not just them. Also the government and various things like that need to put out that scalping is illegal, and it should be illegal, and it should not be a thing that should be able to be happen because is preventing people like me and you and everyone else out there that legitimately wants to buy a console at the or anything. It doesn't have to be a console, just anything that the scalpers scalp. That wants to legitimately go out and buy this, at its legitimate retail price, can't do so because all of these scalpers are going in and just purchasing every piece of inventory out there.
Yeah, I don't know how it's not become a bigger issue than it already is because scalping is really big in two industries: the entertainment venue where you got to buy tickets, and then in the shoes. And what you'll find out is from most of the bots, the botnets that are out there that buy these up, the bots you can buy or the bots you can rent, they're designed for the shoe industry because this is big deal in the shoe industry where they'll come out with like a limited edition Yeezy shoe or something like that, and the bots will just go in and buy them all up.
And then Jordans.
Yeah, and I saw that the other day about how this is used for the shoe business. One, didn't know. I guess I'm just old. I didn't know what the hell a Yeezy was till I saw this guy talking about it. And two, wow, are people that desperate for a shoe?
It's the same industry.
I don't understand it.
But it's the same industry, same thing. Just think about it in an opposite. We like and love video games. That's our industry. There are people like that in every aspect of the game. There's collectors who collect these shoes and never wear them. They just display them. They want a pair of Yeezys because maybe he's their favorite singer, or they just want a pair because they're a shoe collector. There's people out there who collect shoes just like anything else. There's people who collect cards and just different types of collectors. So it's a big industry. The shoe industry is huge, and it is wrought with bots and people buying just mass quantities, so people can't get in and get any of this stuff. So, there has to be something done to fix this, and making you have to create an account on the site doesn't work because these bots are getting to the point where they can create accounts on the fly. You can load them up with multiple credit cards, so you can buy because there has to be a multi-pronged attack if you want to prevent this from retailers from happening. You have to do multiple things. You have to say one per address. Doesn't care what accounts you sign up with. Can't be a PO box. So this physical location has to actually exist to get one. And also you have to be like one per credit card. And a lot of stores did that, but all they did was load up their bots with like 100 or 200 different credit card numbers because you can go out and buy these prepaid credit cards for nothing because they're just preloaded Visa cards. And you could say, I want to put the exact amount. I want to put $550 on here, or whatever the cost of the console, and then just boom, 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 buy it. So you can buy ever many of those that you can afford to spend with cash. So that doesn't work. That's why it has to be multi-pronged. Like, retailers, I honestly almost to the point where
it
I'm
has
like,
to be the
retailers get out.
retailers and the developers working together.
Right. It's almost to the point where you have to do the retailers and developers have to work together. The retailers have to say, yeah, you can buy from us or pre-order from us, but you have to link back to your established account to verify. We have to verify your account. Something like that. It's a multi-pronged thing because it's going to continue to happen, and it's just going to get more and more frustrating. And what I hope happens, and this is what I do hope happens with the PlayStation and the Xbox, is that there's enough people out there that like us that are be like, sorry guys, I'm not an idiot. You don't got a fool here. I can wait. I can wait 3 months or 6 months. I can outwait you, so that you end up with these consoles that you can't get rid of. So you're going to have to do one of two things, which by the time you're in trouble to where you can't get rid of these consoles, they're going to be restocked everywhere. You're going to have to get rid of them at a loss to recoup your money. So you may have gotten rid of half of your stock to just about recoup your money, and then you're going to have to sell the rest of them at a loss. And that's why
I think they should be force-fed the damn things myself.
I honestly think
and
that will, like StockX
that will make them stop. Some of the scalpers, that'll make them stop doing it next time around. Kind of like what Shane said. When the next generation comes, they'll be like, I'm not doing this again because I didn't recoup my money.
Well, that person might, but there might be somebody else just as naive, or maybe just even more savvy than him, that knows how to get in and get them done early and get their money recouped. Because the people that are getting their money recouped are the guys that are out there that we're selling them for $900 for the $400 console and $1,000 for the other one. Those are the people that recoup their money already and are in the profit side of their cycle, because those people they weren't as greedy,
and they
but
shouldn't be.
They shouldn't. No, I agree.
Those individuals out there that went out and bought a $1,000 or $900 console from these resellers, just don't. If you're listening to this podcast, which you're probably not, but because you're listening to the Gold podcast, just don't do it. Don't buy from these people.
You're only screwing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You're only
and everybody else.
Don't give you the luxury of buying to these people. Just wait. I mean, Sony and Microsoft, come next year, they're going to have so much stock in stores that it'll be coming out of your ears. So just wait till that happens, and then you can walk into any Walmart, Best Buy, Target, doesn't matter, and you can pick one right off the shelf. Just wait till that happens. Plus, for both these consoles, there really isn't that much to play, right? I mean, PlayStation has some exclusives, but
Spider-Man is all I want.
Spider-Man's on PS4. So if you're really, really desperate to play it,
shut up, Nick. It's not what I want.
Well, it may not be, but I mean, if you're that desperate to play it, you can still buy it for your PS4, and you can buy a PS4 right now if you want to buy a PS4. So,
got one.
It's not, unless you really just wanted to play Demon Souls, because that's really the only other big hit besides maybe Godfall, which that game sucks apparently. So, I mean,
don't sound so depressed about that one, Nick. So down to the dump.
He really wanted it to be good.
I was hoping it'd be good, but just wait. Like me and Patrick are doing, and like all of us are doing here, Shane and Russ, we're just waiting until next year. Next year, when they come in stock and they become available in stores and we can just easily buy them, that's when we'll buy them. We tried to buy them ahead of time, but again, we tried to buy them legitimately and at the cost, and we just didn't make it. And apparently, they're probably not going to have any more in stock for the rest of the year, and that's fine. We got our Xbox Series X's, and we're having fun playing those, so we'll just wait until the PlayStation 5 becomes readily available where we can go and order one, and we'll go buy one when that time comes.
Right. I'm so glad that I could fire you guys up and just sit here and listen, because it was just epic. I mean, I loved it. I just want to kind of like talk about it myself just a little bit. The funny thing about it is like, so every Christmas time for the last, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years, maybe even up to 7 years, I have been blessed to not have to worry about this year's hot toy, whether it was like Hug Me Elmo, or Isabella was too old to want that. She was too old to want the Elsa doll. She was, I didn't really care about that BB droid toy thing. I didn't have to worry about Hatchimals. Poor Patrick. I remember Patrick, he was trying to get that for his daughter. The fingerlings things, those things a couple years ago. I was like, whatever, scalpers, do what you do your thing, until it affected my own life.
Right.
And now I want to punch them in there, you know what? And it is, I never thought, I know Nintendo has kind of had some history where they've released consoles during the holiday season and they've had some issues, but not to this level. I mean, maybe they might be a month behind or something like that, but nothing to this level of where we're looking at 3 or 4 months to catch stock up. But and we've had COVID this year. We understand all that from the aspect of the developer of Sony and of Microsoft with their difficulties that they had mid-year from some of that stuff. We get that. But I never thought in a million years that I was going to have trouble getting a device that is now getting close to 3 weeks being released, and I can't get a copy of it. So, that was my thought about it. I loved everything that everybody else was saying, but I was like, I was just starting, as y'all were talking, it got to my mind. I was like, what was last year's toy that we couldn't get? What about the year before that that we couldn't get? Not that these consoles are necessarily toys, but they kind of are in the sense of what we love to play on and love to do and stuff like that. And so it's just it's this year it's more frustrating than ever because it's actually finally affecting something that I want this year.
So, does anybody know what the hot toy is this year that you can't find? That's not the consoles.
Honestly, I've been so focused on me, I have no idea.
It's the child from The Mandalorian, the interactive The Child. You know how I know? Because my kid wants one, and so does the girlfriend.
Child? You mean the Baby Yoda?
Yeah, it's called The Child.
Yeah, don't call him Baby Yoda.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No joke. Somebody showed me this yesterday. Somebody showed it to me yesterday.
The interactive one?
Yes, that one. She got it for her nephew or something like that. She was like, I can't believe I got one. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Congratulations,
Hey, you may have to do some things.
I got one, but I don't know if it's the interactive one.
Get the interactive one?
I don't know.
It's like $50. If you got one, it's like $50.
My kids don't care.
It was on Walmart. It was on sale. I don't know if it was the interactive one or not. It's a Baby Yoda. I got it for Mason.
Actually, it's like $60 is what it is. And it wouldn't have gone on sale because it's sold out everywhere. It's been sold out for weeks.
Oh, well then no, I must have got the non-interactive one.
Yeah,
he can make it talk.
Stick your hand up its butt and work it.
Yeah, that's what my kid wanted this year. I'm like, you can't get one anywhere. They're sold out everywhere. And I've been looking to try to get her one.
I'm not up with those toys. I mean,
I'm not either, but I have a kid who wants
I do too, but my kids don't care about that stuff.
So
yeah, my kids are.
It's because you're not raising them right.
Well,
Baby Yoda. What's wrong with you?
My oldest
Baby Yoda.
My son wants it, but he's never seen an episode of Mandalorian.
I'm not going to spoil it, but if you didn't watch the last episode, you know its name.
Yes, you do know.
I haven't watched the last episode.
I haven't either, but I heard it was called Ted.
Ted. It's TED Talk. That's where TED Talk came from. So
no, the last episode that came out on Friday, I haven't watched it yet. So
we're not going to spoil it for anybody yet because it's too soon. But
I will spoil this. It is the single best episode that has come out, in my opinion, of any Star Wars since. I mean, Rogue One was an excellent movie, in my opinion.
You're biased.
But this was fantastic. I loved it that I'll shut up.
Yeah, you're going to spoil it for somebody.
Yeah, you shut your hole, mister.
So,
this is what I want to see. I want to see everybody not buy from these scalpers. And I want to see them begging and crying that they're stuck with all this. They've got no damn money, and they have to sell it for half price. And then I hope they choke on it because it's disgusting what they've done.
What's going to end up happening is they're all going to be on StockX and eBay, come February, March, April of next year for $400 for the $500 console and $300 for the 4 because they're going to have to sell them at a loss so the people will buy them. And the problem is going to be, and this is kind of what I hope happens. I do and I don't hope. I hope there's an issue that Sony notices and they have to fix. And what they do is they release a PlayStation 1.1 that has a fix in it, and they have these
Mhm.
crappy ones that they can't do anything with.
You see that one? I don't know, it was some YouTuber that I think it was Modern Vintage Gamer. I think it was. They got a message from one of the scalpers that wanted to have a sponsorship because they couldn't sell their PlayStation.
Oh my god!
And they wanted to have a sponsor window trying to sell their PlayStation.
I hope he told them where to stick it.
Oh, he did. He told them, like, no, I don't think so.
I got your sponsorship right here.
It was
I got your
like,
sponsorship. It's normally my normal sponsorship is $500, but in your case it's $2,500.
$2,500.
Yeah. So you want a sponsorship section? $2,500, and you have to donate 5 PlayStations 5s to
he
the local
would
hospital.
be like, yeah, and then they
for giveaways.
and give them away.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they're going to take these, and that's what I would do. Like, yeah, it's going to be this much money, and you just donate this much, and I'm going to give this away.
Yeah, I want this much
You
for every
piece of
PlayStation
crap.
you
Yeah. I'm going to get my come up from you. I'll let you have a sponsorship, and then I'm going to rag on you at the end of my episode.
That's what I would do. I mean, if they came to our podcast and be like, "Hey, can you sponsor us?" Be like, "Yeah," and you got to give this many consoles, and I'm going to rag on you and tell them how much you're a piece of crap.
Yep. $2,500. We get we get
And your
5
parents don't like
PS5s. We each get one, then we'll donate one,
Yep.
and then we'll rag on you the whole time.
That's right. But we won't use profanity.
Yeah. And we'll tell people where you are, but we'll also tell them they shouldn't buy from you.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
And by tell them where you are, we give them your actual house address, you scumbag.
No swatting.
Oh, no. I just want to see a bunch of
people will do that.
PlayStation
Though.
nerds
You
show
give them
up
their
there.
address, and people will be swatting them.
Yeah. It'll end up being where somebody gets shot
Yeah.
over a PlayStation.
I mean, it's just
As long as
the
it's a
bad thing
scalper, I'll
is-
risk it.
No, I mean, scalpers are people too. They are.
They're just misguided. They're misguided.
Yeah,
Misguided
I mean-
ass. They're scumbags.
they are scum. It's a horrible thing, and it's like I've never seen it as bad as I have this year. I mean, there's always scalping going on, but this year has been like horrible with it.
They're
And
taking such advantage of
that
economics, the pandemic. I mean, it's
right.
just
That
disgusting.
group from the UK were like, oh, it's the pandemic and blah blah blah. And it's like we're giving to the children. Like, no, you're not. You're taking away from the people that will legitimately buy those. And maybe just only have $500. They just have enough money to buy that PlayStation. You're taking it away from them, and you're just giving it to the people that have this, the money that they could just throw away, the ability to buy these games or to buy these consoles.
Mhm.
Like, you're not helping anybody but yourself. So don't give me that crap that you think you're like the Robin Hood of the online movement.
Right.
You're not.
I mean, we'll just take for a perfect example. I mean, StockX is one of the popular places where people sell this, but there's also eBay. People are selling stuff on the Facebook's marketplace. They're selling these everywhere.
And
So
eBay
just to
should be
give-
held accountable too.
Just to give you an example, StockX tracks trends. So StockX has basically said, as of today, December 1st, 2020, there has been 19,411 PlayStation 5 sales, with the average price at 94.8% over MSRP. So $903 is the average sell cost that they're putting this thing. 19,411 consoles sold through StockX, and I guarantee you they're probably one of the they might be bigger or maybe really close to what eBay is, but most other people are probably selling them on the Facebook Marketplace, on just different little forum groups and stuff like that, or through their own website. Who knows? But
Yeah.
this is one website, 19,411 sales.
Well, Sony and Microsoft, they should be mad. They should be mad that the people that got this, or Microsoft or Sony came out and said, like I said before, this is the biggest console launch and sell ever.
No.
Well,
It went from one
half of
warehouse
them-
to another.
over half of them were from scalpers, and you should be as a company pissed off about that.
Well, in my opinion,
That-
it hurts their bottom line because
Right.
what ends up happening is that those whatever, if it's a third of the consoles sold that got sent to scalpers that would have normally went to buying customers, and I guarantee you they would have sold out even without scalpers probably because there's enough people wanting these
Oh yeah,
consoles.
I guarantee.
Mhm.
They're losing out on game sales because right now nobody's buying a game for those third consoles sitting out and just waiting. Because right now I would have bought Miles Morales for the PS5 if I would have had a PS5, but they're not getting my money until I get my console. And same thing with like the other game, the other
Dark
exclusives
Souls
stuff.
and
That stuff.
Sackboy Adventures, stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. I didn't even think about the game aspect of it. Yeah, you're right. They're getting screwed over just like their customer base. Microsoft and Sony should sue these scumbags. I don't know. I'm really trying not to lose my temper. Thanks, Russ.
But yeah, I mean, it's just that. It's just that. I mean, they're losing money. We're losing patience as consumers because that doesn't seem like, from our eyes, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. From our eyes, Sony and PlayStation are gloating. They're like, hey, we sold out. We're like, yeah, we know you did, you D-bags, but you sold out by a third of your consoles going to places they shouldn't have gone.
Mhm.
So, there's probably not a real good way for anybody to tell what the real numbers is. But like I said, this StockX site actually tells you how many of this item has been sold through the website. And this is the white, looks like the disc version. So,
Oh, geez.
that's just on the disc version it looks like. I wonder if I can find out what the discless one was. I mean, like I said, there's the digital edition. So let's see. Oh, so those are separate. 10,520 of the digital edition. So there's almost 30,000. No, there is 30,000 units sold. 30,000 units sold over this website. That's a lot of money lost from Sony and Microsoft on selling. Not so because those people went and bought consoles, but went and bought the games, but it's the ones that are sitting in stock that nobody's buying because they're just overpriced.
Well, I don't care about these people. I really don't. I think they're what's wrong with the world, and as much as I'm trying to hold back my language, I hope they suffer and they suffer a lot. I really do.
Well, yeah, I hope they're left with
I
stock
hope
they
they-
can't sell
yeah.
and they lose money on the deal.
And
Like
their
that
wives leave them.
$4 million
Take the
guy. I hope
kids.
he loses $1 million.
Yeah, I agree with Patrick. I hope they hold on to that stock and never get to be able to sell it because they don't deserve to sell it.
No, they don't.
It's a bad deal. So
And for Microsoft and Sony, for all of us, we got Xbox Series X's. We were lucky in that aspect. But all of us tried to buy PS4s or PS5s, I mean. And, I think being that the PS4 was such a big seller in last generation, that was probably more scalped this time around than Xboxes, granted. So that's understandable in that aspect. But, for all of
How
us,
many
we tried.
Xboxes went to consumers, and how many PlayStation?
Well, I'm sure more.
That's what I
Xboxes
want to
went-
know.
I'm sure more Xboxes went to consumers than scalpers, and that's just because, again, last generation, PlayStation outsold Xbox, 2-1 or whatever.
And rightly
But-
so. They did a great
it-
job. I mean,
Right, and so we're a little bit easier to get Xboxes than we were PlayStation. It was still a difficult. We thought
yeah.
at first we weren't going to get them, but we all ended up getting them. But PlayStation, I mean, I tried, and I think Patrick tried as well on the first day.
a lot. I did.
Yeah.
I even signed up in the pre-order from PlayStation's
Yeah, I did
website.
too, and I still didn't get one.
No,
and
me neither.
neither did Patrick. So, the scalpers took advantage of that and just took them all from us. And from all of us legitimate people, and I read on Reddit and stuff in the PlayStation forum, PlayStation Reddit, of people that are desperately just trying to get one for retail price. They don't want to go out and buy or spend $1,000 or whatever
Yeah,
for.
you shouldn't
PlayStation.
have to.
And you shouldn't have to. Exactly. You shouldn't have to. These people go out there and they do it, and it makes me mad because it's like, even if I wouldn't be able to get one, I would be more happy if
They
the
sold out
scalp
due to
went
non-scalpers.
down and they sold. Yeah, exactly, for that aspect. And then I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But the fact that the scalpers have taken 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever amount of PlayStations away from us individuals that just want to buy them outright at retail price, that's what makes me mad.
Well, if we just go by StockX, it's 30,000 units for PlayStation and 20,000 units for Xbox. That's what they've sold so far. So, I mean, it's a bad thing, and Sony and Microsoft have got to do something to combat it, or there needs to be some legislation against it. I don't consider this free market because it's not free market. You're scamming. That's not a free. There's nothing different here than price gouging. There is no shortage. There's no shortage of these consoles. I mean, there may be a few shortages where right now we're looking at tens of thousands of people who wanted one that didn't get one because scalpers bought them of either or console. It's not like they were that big of a shortage. It's that big of a shortage because they just bought them all and they're doubling their price.
Yeah.
Or, in just different consoles aspects, how much they're getting out of them. It's stupid, and something has to be done to prevent this from the future. And I don't know what the proper answer is. I mean, while I say legislation, I don't know. That might be overreach on the government side, in my opinion, a little bit. But the retailers need to work with Microsoft and Sony to figure out, and Nintendo, because I don't think the Switch sold out. It sold out, but it wasn't sold out for as long. But they need to do something with these retailers to figure out a way to make sure that the consoles end up in the hands of the gamers, not the hands of the profiteering douchebags.
Well, I mean, what does they call it when one company holds a monopoly? They're creating a monopoly on the product.
Well,
you can't you can't get a product anywhere else. It should be available.
It's like a company
that is monopolizing on it.
It's like a company going out, purchasing all of one thing, and then selling it for a profit, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what it is.
That's not a legitimate company. That's just a company.
Free market, but that's what the government's argument is. That it's free market. That that people are free to make money the way they seem, as long as it's not illegal. And illegal would be like selling drugs or something like that. We're talking because I mean, it happens. People buy in bulk to get a discount and then resell it at a higher price. I mean, that's just how a lot of these small businesses work. You think of these clothing stores.
That should be how it should be.
Well, I mean, but there's a difference here.
That's they're not buying on gas during a shortage.
They're not buying in bulk PlayStations and Xboxes at $300 a console and selling them for $450 or $500. They're buying them in bulk and just doubling the price because they've created artificial demand. And this is getting off topic a little bit, but there's no difference here than futures pricing in the market. When you're talking stock market and stuff like that, I hate future markets because what ends up happening is you get some group of people who go back in and artificially inflate the cost of something. The most common thing is barrels of oil because they never have to take reception of those. They can go in and buy barrel oils at $50 a barrel. They go in and buy 10,000 units of it, never receive it because they're buying futures, and then they go wait until that thing goes up to $100 because stock is now low, and now they've just doubled their money because they played the futures market but never actually touched a product. Now they're selling those futures because they are basically like, we're ready to sell. We bought them at $50 a barrel and bought 100,000 barrels, and we're selling them now for $100 at 100,000. I think that's garbage, and you should be allowed to play with futures like that to some extent. If you're receiving the product, yes, and you can hold on to it, yes, but it's a slippery slope. Like I said, these people bought them, they received the stock, and then they're pushing them out to consumers at double the price because of an artificial inflation in supply and demand. There's only a supply issue because these people, and I'm trying to use the term loosely, bought up all these units, tens of thousands of units, if not more. It's probably more, like 100,000 plus more units, and then are selling them at an exorbitant price because now there's none available because they bought every last one.
I think we can all agree we'd like to beat the crap out of each one of these scalpers.
We need to do the Jay and Silent Bob.
I know where you're going.
Are you movie poop shoot? Did you post on movie poop shoot as Magnolia fan? All right. We'll just Jay and Silent Bob them, you know.
Oh,
So
I would love that.
yeah, I mean that happens a lot well, I guess I shouldn't say it's happened a lot. It's been happening a lot since PS3. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of this. I remember getting consoles pretty easily before that. I don't remember ever going into a place before like the PlayStation 3 and they go, oh, "Sorry, we're sold out." And you're like, "What? Sold out?" You know.
See, I've been pre-ordering since 2. You know, 2 I didn't pre-order, but all the other consoles since Xbox, PlayStations, you know, I've always pre-ordered. But this year, you know, pre-ordering even, you know, the Xbox was unbelievable. I mean, my wife had to get it because I just couldn't get them
You missed out,
Best
yeah.
Buy. Yeah, Best Buy to work out. But yet my wife, she squeaked in there and got it. I don't know if she's kissing on that manager or something, but I don't care.
He got himself an Xbox. But yeah, that was rough. I wasn't sure we were getting one. I was starting to sweat it.
Yeah,
You know, and
it was
they
rough.
It went out of stock, and I think Nick was the one that came back in the group and said, "Hey guys, back in stock on Best Buy." We all jumped on Best Buy and got one, except for Shane did and his wife did, and then Russ did, and Russ got really scared and went to GameStop.
I was really trying because I was in that bathroom because I was at work that day. I was in there for like an hour and a half, man. My legs were asleep. It sucked.
He came out with the toilet ring on his butt.
Anyways, yeah, we could definitely rant and rave about toxic people and scalpers, and there's a lot we really didn't even get to because
we can go on for much longer.
Yeah. But you guys have anything else you want to add on?
I'd like to add on some PlayStation 5s.
Yeah, I'd like to add that too. Yeah, that'd be good. What about you, Russ? You got anything you'd like to add?
No, I think sometimes it's good to have a good vent session on those things that are bothering us in the gaming world, and I think everybody covered it quite well.
Yeah. I had to give myself a little kudos. I tried to keep the cursing down. I think I did slip a BS in there.
That's just more work for Nick to have to edit it out.
Yeah, I'm keeping him on his toes. I ain't going to tell you where it's at, but there's some BS in there. Nick, you got anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Talk to you next time.